Whoa, Steve, we are live. We are live here. We're just going to give people a couple minutes to tune in, and then we will get started.
For sure.
All right. Steve, you ready to start off with the Setex ad here?
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it.
All right. Today on the Expect Miracles podcast, we have a very special guest, Steve Prokop. He is one of my patients. He has an amazing recovery story from Post Concussion Syndrome that we're going to share in a little bit. But first, today's Expect Miracles podcast episode is sponsored by Setex. Setex is a tech company that makes patented gripping products. Their gripping technology has been developed over 15 years of academic research at Carnegie Mellon University to understand and mimic the microstructures called setae on gecko's feet.
Setex's gecko-inspired technology is unique in the market. Most competition grip pads are made of silicone, latex, and rely on rubbery surface to reduce slippage, but these can get very slippery when wet. Setex's anti-slip pads mimic gecko's fibrillar microstructures to provide a natural, unprecedented grip on wet and oily skin and surfaces. Some products offered by Setex include nose pad grips for glasses, thumbstick grips, gaming controller grips, and probably my favorite, earbud grips. Roughly 1 in 6 AirPod users lose one or both of their AirPods every year. These grip pads are designed to keep your AirPods firmly in your ears and to fit comfortably in your charging case.
All of these products can be found at www.setexgrip.com and Amazon. Be sure to follow them on social media to stay up to date with their newest products. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Expect Miracles podcast. As I said before, we have one of my favorite patients, Steve Prokop. He's been doing phenomenal under Upper Cervical Care, and I'm really excited for him to share his healing journey because he's suffered with it for a long time, and he came out the other side, and it's a pleasure to have him on the show. Steve, how are you today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and definitely agree with that long journey. I know I definitely wanted to do this at some point. So
Steve, where are you from?
I'm from Flawn Park, New Jersey. So
Beautiful.
Right, like 30 minutes from your office almost.
And what were you into growing up?
So the biggest thing, I was very similar to you. The biggest thing for me was ice hockey. That's all I played growing up. Played like 12 years and, traveled all over the Northeast. Really enjoyed that competitiveness. And then things kind of happened in high school, which started this whole journey, which I'll get into. But yeah, ice hockey was the biggest thing.
So, Steve, how old were you when your incident happened and what happened?
Yeah, so this all started when I was 15 years old. I went to St. Peter's Prep for high school. Very good, education there. Also had a pretty good hockey program. So, best of both worlds.
Are you a freshman in high school at this point?
Yeah, at this point. So I was a freshman in high school. And I wasn't like any superstar or anything. Just played JV my first year. And so it was the last game of the season. We went down the shore to play Christian Brothers Academy, CBA. And most of our team was just freshmen because, we were pretty young. And their team, they have a very good program. So they had a lot of older, bigger kids on their team.
Mm-hmm.
And back then I was probably 150, 5'8", not what I am now. But anyway, so I remember we were down by 1. I went into the corner. It just happened to be one of those, pucks in the corner. I also skated in pretty lazily. I was kind of lazy back then. But I went in and this kid kind of just came in from behind and just steamrolled me. I went completely headfirst into the boards, and it was a loud bang. Everybody in the rink was like, "Oh my gosh, that's bad." And I'm pretty sure I blacked out for a few seconds. I wasn't unconscious, but I was just on the ground.
Holy shit!
And
you went neck first into the boards?
Yeah. And thinking about it now, I kind of remember hearing something going on up there when that happened. And obviously I just thought it was I didn't think anything of it. But it was, obviously that started a huge fight as soon as that happened. Both teams started fighting. But But I'm very grateful for the CBA trainer. He came running out and tended me right away because
Were
we
you
didn't have.
able to move, or did you think you were paralyzed or anything?
Oh yeah, so I don't know because I don't really remember exactly what happened. I was definitely able to like move my fingers and toes right away, so I knew
Uh-huh.
that like it wasn't anything bad. But the CBA trainer, like I said, we didn't have one because we traveled, and he was very good. Props to them. He kind of just came running out to make sure like I was okay. Like definitely, did all those tests and everything. Um, and then he skated me off the ice, and this is the one thing I'll never forget other than that hit was as I was skating off, the kid who hit me, like I've come to like forgive him and like, move on, but the kid who hit me, he just kind of says to me like, "Oh, sorry, buddy." And like little did I mean, yeah, but like little did I know like I was gonna start a whole like 5-year journey of like everything I'm gonna be talking about. But so that was.
So, Steve, what symptoms did you notice after the hit?
Yeah, so after the hit, it was really just I definitely knew I had a concussion just because when I went into the locker room, I knew like, you know, looking at the lights that hurt,
Mhm.
hearing noise that hurt, any like, the normal concussion symptoms. Um, yeah, so I definitely had just normal concussion symptoms and the low back pain, which was my main symptom.
That you didn't have before.
Yeah, never ever had. I mean, like other than soreness, but never had like this kind of pain. That didn't really come until after like a couple months of kind of just going through the concussion. It wasn't that bad of a concussion. I went through the protocol in like a month and got cleared.
What did you have, like blurry vision, brain fog, headaches, anything like that?
Yeah, definitely headaches. I know for the first week, I didn't really watch TV or anything just to let everything rest, and definitely brain fog. I know when I went back to school, it was tough to like do math and stuff like that. So,
And who did you see? What doctor did you see first? Like,
so for the
what was your protocol after you got hit? Where did you
oh,
go
I,
first?
I just I didn't. I mean, I just went to the hospital down the shore. They said you have a concussion, and then I just followed the high school protocol with like the trainer there, and
Mhm.
like they know what they're doing. So it was a pretty easy like other than the first week, it was a pretty easy recovery to get over the concussion just because all I had to do was rest and you know do my thing. And then after like 2 months, I was like pretty much solid. So
And then the debilitating low back pain hit?
yeah, so after I got cleared from my concussion, I was like, let's play some spring hockey, get back to it. And so I started playing spring, just like a little league once a week. And the first time I noticed the low back pain, I just bend down to tie my skates and I was like, what is that? Like, it's just this insane pain that wasn't soreness. It was like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just this excruciating pain that wasn't going away. And I was like, maybe if I skate a little bit, it'll go away. And then this entire season, every week it was just still there. And I just didn't know what it was. And it was so frustrating.
Were you able to skate and play, or did it really hinder your performance out there?
Yeah, I was definitely able to skate and play. I definitely feel like it like hindered my performance to be at like my peak. Like I was able to play and just kind of be fine, but I wasn't able to play my hardest because if I really just tried hard, it just hurt. And I
Mhm.
was just like, okay, I can just like kind of be average, but I'm not going to try hard if it hurts.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So then that spring league is definitely when the back pain started. And that's probably the biggest symptom I've had throughout these 5 years.
So, what did you do first for the low back pain?
So that was so the summer after freshman year, moving into sophomore year. Honestly, for a year, I didn't do I related to Atlas. I didn't do anything because I didn't know anything. So I basically the first thing I did was just go to the regular chiropractor. I tried like everything in the book, similar to you, like acupuncture, acu excuse me, acupressure, um, massages, icy hot, like literally everything in the book, and nothing was doing it. Especially so that summer after freshman year, nothing was doing it. And then I went into sophomore year and played JV again. And I remember coming off the ice after a practice just crying because I was like, it hurts too bad. Like I can't do this
Damn.
anymore. Like this is ridiculous. And I ended up quitting the rest of the season. It was just and it was tough because I was playing travel like 80 games a season, like full year plus JV. So it does a lot to your body. And it was just hard to keep up with that and also deal with this. So I ended up quitting for a couple months. And then move into sophomore year. That was when I the end of sophomore year was when I kind of finally found Atlas Orthogonal. But I'm going to talk about Jason first because great guy, great trainer, you know him.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who kind of introduced me to that. So
you said there's something that might be wrong in your upper neck that could be affecting your low back.
Yeah. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't even. Yeah.
Like, how does that even make sense?
Yeah. So, yeah. So before I saw him, I saw Matt McGowan, great chiropractor. He was very good at, analyzing my body, being like, all right, this is a little messed up. I'm gonna work on it, do these and you'll be good. And the problem was I was coming back every time and I wasn't really looking any better. I'd come in hunched over every time and he was just so confused because he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And so he referred me to Jason and he was like, maybe just start working with Jason, start working out, build some muscle, that will help. And I'm like, all right. So I go to Jason, we start working out and he's very good. He's a good trainer. 3 or 4 times he looks at me at like the 4th session. He's like, wait a minute, come here for a sec. He's like looking at my neck, like my back, my hips, like kind of just, looking at the balance. I mean, I'm just like, all right, like, whatever, man. Like, I don't really know what he's doing. And then he's like, yeah, like, it looks like your atlas is off. I think you should go see like this chiropractor, which was the Atlas orthogonist. And like, I didn't know what that was. And also by that time, that was like the 10th recommendation I've received to go see.
You've probably seen so many doctors at this point. It's like,
yeah.
All right.
Like, I remember, like, when he said that, I was like, man, like, whatever. Like, I guess, like, but then I kind of looked into it and I was like, and he really convinced me. He was like, just do it, man. Like, trust me. And I was like, all right. So I gave it a shot. I went there, got some x-rays on the atlas. I was educated by them. They kind of told me.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Because I was like, what's this? Like, I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, and then kind of moved into the first treatment, if you want to get into that with them.
And then how did the Atlas orthogonal do with the did it help your low back symptoms?
Yeah, so definitely for the first like year, it definitely helped like a decent amount, just because I was out of alignment for so long. I remember when I first got adjusted, like the pain went away, but not like fully. Like I still had soreness because my body was definitely adjusting to going back to normal, but the excruciating pain was like kind of debilitating over weeks. And so for like a year, I was able to go to that orthogonist and just go every like few months and get it put back in. It wasn't like necessarily holding for like too long, but definitely longer than like not it holding at all. So, So for a year that was pretty good. And that kind of gave me the confidence to move back into hockey. I was like, I'm doing well. Let's play some hockey again. I love it. So junior year, I go and I play varsity. I make varsity. I get a little bigger, and stuff like that. And I see this orthogonist while I'm playing varsity. So, it kind of became a habit of where I would go and play, and it's a pretty tough, like, conference and everything. I'd go and play, get knocked out. And throughout those last 2 years, I would go once a week to get it put back in. And the mental state of that just was so negative.
It's tough. Yeah.
Because it's like you think you're getting better, but then it's like you have to go back every time just to feel a bit better. And that was probably the toughest part because, like knowing that something was only temporary. And it was also tough kind of dealing with, not that people didn't believe me that I had back pain or headaches or anything, because they did. It's just kind of dealing with people and coaches and friends and other teammates, and how like, because they've never been through something like that you and I have been through with this, it's hard for them to understand. Like the way I see it is like, when someone breaks their arm, like you see them in a cast, like, oh, like they need to rest. They need to, heal up for a couple months. And
there's a dedicated timeline. Like you get in a cast for 4 to 6 weeks and then you'll be good.
Yeah. And it's so like for this, it's like I'm in low back pain. I can still walk and do everything I need to do to live a life, but I'm in pain all the time, and no one sees it because, you don't need to be in a cast or anything. And
you're like 16 years old. It's like, what 16-year-old has such crippling low back pain?
Exactly.
It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah. Like the amount of times I've said to my friends, parents, family, like, like, oh my God, my back hurts. Like they'll probably have like $1 billion if I gave them a quarter every time I did
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it's something that's kind of, I've just learned to deal with. And so yeah, those last 2 years kind of started moving to orthogonal like every week. And like I said, that mentally was just very tough because I just felt like I wasn't moving forward. I was kind of just staying still. And then, yeah, moving on to college, I decided not to play hockey in college. Not that I was going to play like division, but like even club, just because I didn't want to like deal with that mentally. Um, so I went to college in LA, and I ended up finding another orthogonist out there just to like make sure I was good. Because the summer after senior year, once I stopped playing hockey, I was holding pretty well just because I wasn't doing much, just kind of like hanging out, getting ready for college. And then I go to college, I'm fine for a little. And then, of course, something happens, something small comes out. So I got to go see someone else out there that was referred. And like I said, she's also great too, but it's like just the Uber is like taking the Uber there is expensive. And then paying for it, it's like, it's just so time consuming, especially if you're not from the area. So that was pretty tough. And that entire year I was going to her. So definitely helped out a little bit. And then moving forward, it wasn't until I saw you. So it wasn't until the summer after my freshman year, before I started my sophomore year, I'm pretty sure, is when I started to see you.
I remember the first day you came in, and I adjusted you the same day you came in, and I was looking at your x-rays, and I think Dr. Jeff was there, and I was like, holy shit, this is the biggest atlas misalignment on both sides I think I've ever seen. And I think I came out of the waiting room and told you that.
Yeah.
Because I was excited because I knew we could help. But I think from that hit, your atlas was so far forward on both sides. I think it was just pulling your entire body forward and putting an incredible amount of pressure on your low back. It was insane.
Yeah. I mean, I always wondered if it could be like just from like also just going back to playing and just like getting hit like over and over again and then getting adjusted. Like, I don't know if how like the number of adjustments can like affect it. But yeah, I remember when you told me that, I was just like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm in pain. Like,
so what was it like being under Blair Upper Cervical? What did you notice? What was that healing process like?
Yeah, so that was definitely long, not as long as the other, but definitely very, very good. I know the first day I came into you, like you could just see in my face, like I was defeated.
You were
Like
done. You were
everything I
done.
told you, I was just like, this sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, I knew it was nice because I was a little educated going into like you, like I knew it wasn't going to be like, oh, like one adjustment's going to be a fix, like kind of like I thought before, but I knew that it wasn't going to be like that. And definitely just knew to like listen to you and like everything.
Did you get relief after your first adjustment, or did it take a little bit?
Oh yeah. So kind of similar to the other situation, I definitely got relief, and it honestly wasn't even as like sore as it was as the first time I got adjusted because I've been adjusted before. But I know this is a different technique, so it definitely felt a bit different and it felt better. Like I remember walking out and I was like, yeah, that feels good. I remember like feeling good.
And
But
then the healing journey starts.
yeah.
So a lot of people do have really great first adjustments, and I know a lot of people see some of our videos and they think it's like a one and done fix. You're healed. You never have to come back. That is certainly not the case. You can have a great first adjustment and feel great, but there's definitely a healing process with ups and downs. And just go through that with you, Steve, because I know you had the great first adjustment. What was the healing process like for you?
Yeah, so it's definitely, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but definitely it's for me, it was kind of like a roller coaster because because I've kind of been dealing with this for like a couple of years, I've kind of developed a discipline to like really take care of my body and myself. So I remember when I got adjusted, I was like, I'm gonna just make sure that I'm gonna work out for a little. I'm gonna not do anything crazy, And
Let it rest and sink in.
Yeah. And then like it still was coming out. And like that was probably the most frustrating part is like when you kind of just do nothing and it still comes out. And like I think that's kind of just the way your body has to adjust to like the way it's changing. That's kind of like what I think. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone could hold like after the first adjustment for a long time, but it's like your body's still gonna have to like adjust to the idea of like, whoa, like this hasn't been like this in a long time. Like, let me kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
Um,
It definitely takes time for postural changes to like,
yeah,
because if your neck is stuck like this for 5, 6, 10, 15 years,
yeah,
your body's going to need to bring it back and keep it there. So
yeah,
it does get better, and then your body tries to pull it back and it's not going to let it. And so it's a little bit of a tug of war for the first 2, 3 months as your body wants to bring it back and it's not used to it. So it tries to go back. So it's kind of fighting each other for a little bit, but it usually takes about 3 or 4 months for the spine to really stabilize and be where it needs to be.
yeah, yeah. So I think, um, for me, what I got to do, excuse me, to really get it to sink in and hold was to kind of go through like, I don't really know what to call it, but like a certain period of like just really like focusing on myself. So
Mhm.
like, so I think I went with you for like a year, and I was getting great adjustments, but I wasn't necessarily taking care of myself the best way. Like I was, going to school, like, college, drinking every now and then, getting a lot of stress, and obviously everyone has stress in life, but it was hard because I didn't want to like limit myself from everything, but I also wanted to make sure I was okay with, so it was kind of a hard balance. But what I started to do was this past year I came home from school early just because I got into that cycle again of it coming out all the time, like every week, and I was like, this is just ridiculous. Like it's just the worst feeling.
Yeah, you came
And
back from California defeated again. I was like, "Steve, what's going on, man?"
I'm like, you already know what's going on. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure Jeff was the one who adjusted me when I first came back.
Dr. Jeff, that adjustment might still be holding.
Yeah, it is. It
What what
is.
what month was that?
Beginning of November, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Jeff gave you that adjustment, and it's still holding strong.
Yeah, he's got some
Yes,
magic
he
hands.
does.
But yeah, so I remember I came back, I got adjusted, and then I left the office that day and I was like, all right, like I'm not going, I mean, I'm doing classes virtually, but like I have a lot of time to myself to focus on myself. Let's just focus on this. Like let's just do what I need to do. And for 2 whole months, which was kind of my period, I didn't work out. Like I definitely stayed healthy, went for walks and little things like that, but
Yeah.
I didn't work out. I didn't drink. I didn't like do anything to like stress the body. I kind of just let my whole body decompress with everything that was going on and kind of like you said, let it all sink in. And then so that really helped, and I kind of just focused on myself, meditating and little things like that.
That's funny you mentioned that. I did the exact same thing. I was getting adjusted a lot when I first started care, and then I was like, "All right, I need to do something personally also." So like I stopped lifting heavy weights for like 2 or 3 months, just went for walks, light jogs just to help everything mold around my neck. And then I waited a certain amount of time, and then I started going back to the gym, and I could finally do it and eventually could lift more because everything was back in alignment and balanced.
Yeah, and I feel like the longer you're able to hold, like every month and day just makes you more confident. Like I'm not
I
saying to go
agree.
on like a roller coaster or anything. Like I'm probably never going to do that again, but like but when it comes to lifting, like in the beginning I was just so afraid to like do like a bicep curl. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I don't want
Yeah.
to mess it up." But now it's like I can do them properly and be like, okay.
Mhm.
So, but definitely after those first 2 months, I was still, like I said, pretty paranoid to go back to working out. And so I didn't just like rush back into it like I used to do. I hit up Jason again because he's a trainer, and he was very, very good with me. Just like because he has the same Atlas issue, and how so he knows exactly what exercises to do that like help it, what exercises definitely not to do that makes it worse in the beginning. So I'm very grateful for
That
him
was
that
huge.
he's
Yeah, I
helped me
think that was
out.
a very key role in your recovery.
Yeah, because like
Being
I'm
educated on how to get back into the working out.
yeah, because I'm no expert, and I consider him an expert, and he would just be like, "Oh, don't do that. Like that's not good for it." And I'm like, "Oh." because you never like I would go to the gym and just do like but yeah, so for like a month and a half, 2 months, I worked out with him just like a couple times a week. Very fun. We have a great friendship. And then finally at a certain point, I was just, it's been like 3 months, 4 months. I was like, I told him, I was like, I think I'm ready to start working out myself. Like, you can just send me workouts and I'll just make sure I do them right. And so that's when I kind of started going back to the gym myself and doing certain things. And then eventually started to get back into like old workouts I used to do in high school with hockey, and just making sure I do things right and slow and not doing anything crazy,
Yeah. And you got back on the ice this winter too, right?
Yeah. So like over time, I was able to get back into more things I really like. Definitely was able to skate a few times. I mean, I'll probably never play like physically or competitively again, just because I don't want to have to like deal with that. But definitely was able to just skate, have fun with my friends, pass, shoot, skate around, and not have any issues. So that was really fun.
You'd be surprised. You're still like fairly early into care. You're going to still do some really good healing a year and a half, 2 years in. Like, I never thought I was ever going to be able to work out or surf or play hockey again. I'm doing jujitsu now with Jason, and like, that's all neck. Jason choked me out like 7 times on Tuesday, and it's just all neck. I never thought I was ever going to be able to do that again. And, in the first 4 to 8 months of care, no way, wasn't happening. But my neck's gotten so much stronger over the years that it's, knock on wood, it's strongest it's ever been, and I'm so grateful for that. But don't count yourself out yet.
Yeah.
You can definitely get back into everything you used to love.
Yeah, I guess the way I should look at it now is I'm definitely in the beginning of that, like not the very beginning of recovery, but I don't know. I've kind of been seeing as like, this is the best I'll get, but that's really great to hear. Like, I didn't really know that. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I think I waited like a year and a half to go surfing again. And I went with like really small waves and then worked my way up. But like, that was something I was like, it was a huge question mark. I was like, will I ever be able to do this again? And if you take the time to heal and have that adjustment hold for a long time, kind of like you said, your confidence grows and grows, where you're just going to get to a certain point where it's been holding for so long. You're like, let's just do it. And then you'd be surprised how strong your body is.
Yeah. I guess I have a quick question for you, actually. Just like, I don't know if you probably haven't experienced this in a while, but like in the beginning when you, because I get like, not really anymore, but in the beginning I would get really paranoid. Like, the littlest thing would make it come out. Like, were you ever kind of like me in that situation?
Absolutely. 100%. Anytime I go to the gym, if I did one exercise and I thought it went out, I would do those turtle exercises, keep everything going back. And then I realized, even if you are feeling something, it's not always that remember you came in 2 weeks ago, you're like, my back's hurting a little bit, but it doesn't really feel like I'm out. You're going to start to know that it's not always your neck. So when your neck holds, something else can go in place. You just do a little acupressure or a low back adjustment or something. It pops right back in and you're back on track. So when your neck starts to hold for a long time, you can just get little aches and pains in other parts of your body, and you just kind of put it right back in and you're good to go.
Yeah. I've definitely started to notice, like, because the first few years of treatment, when I wasn't with you, it was like, I just knew when it was out every time. But now it's like, I don't know, and that's good.
Yeah. And then sometimes it can get stuck, not out. Like, I remember I went surfing one time and a wave went over my head and I came out the other side, and like, if the Atlas like moved out, it was like halfway where I could feel it. I was like, it's not out, but it's stuck so like for 2 weeks, I was just pressing on this area because I got checked and it wasn't out. And then one day I went to go lay down on the pillow, put my head on the pillow, and it clicked back in and I was good. So there's kind of wild things like that can happen.
Wow. So wait, so you got checked and did they say it was stuck, or like they were?
No, I mean, they couldn't tell if it was, I felt that. I felt it right here. I was like, it doesn't usually feel like it's out, but it's definitely not in. It was like halfway. And then when I put my head on the pillow one night, it clicked back in. And I was like, and like my whole body relaxed.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
So I do a lot of acupuncture. I get checked by Dr. Jeff. He'll do some mid back, low back adjustments on me every now and then, just to make sure this holds for a long time.
Yeah.
So I do things to keep everything in check, like you're doing now.
Yeah, that's good. And one thing I do want to mention, you're talking about the pillow, is I having a really good pillow definitely helps, especially in the beginning. Like, I don't know, I think Jace or someone recommended me. I use like a water pillow, and so
Yeah.
I think I brought it in for you to look at one
You know
time.
what? Bring that in again because you've been talking about that a lot, and I'd like to see that.
Yeah, so that's definitely been really good because I filled it up with the orthogonist. I filled it up with just enough water to where he could like measure and make sure like when I'm laying on it properly that my neck is like aligned with my, everything down here. And so it's good because like it's obviously good to have good posture, but if you have a pillow that's too thin, you're gonna be sleeping like this, and a pillow that's
Yeah.
too thick, you're gonna be sleeping like that. And like I feel like for guys like us, that's just not good.
Yeah. You want to keep that nice and neutral while you're sleeping.
Yeah, I'll bring that in and show you. It's pretty cool.
So, Steve, what's your quality of life like now, and what do you got going on in the near future here?
It's great. Quality of life is so much better than what it used to be. Definitely just a lot happier with this treatment, moving forward from everything, and still know like I'm gonna, get checked up every once in a while, but that's just for me to like, make sure I'm okay. And definitely just doing a lot better, able to, like I said, move on to things and that I really enjoy, and doing things. And hopefully in the future I can do even like more things like you said, after a couple of years. And definitely just a lot better, just a lot happier. It's definitely helped my mental state overall in the past few years.
You ever think about going to chiropractic school, becoming an upper cervical guy?
I did. I honestly, I did. I just like, I don't know. I think when it comes, I'd have to like start like credits over and stuff. So it might take
That's
a
okay.
while.
Dude, I
I
was the
would,
same way. I was like, there's no way I can do all that schooling. There's no way. And
I
then,
would do it honestly. Like,
yeah, I think
that's
I mean, you got a great story, and I think you'd be good at it, man. It like completely turned your life around, and you could help others do the same thing. Something to think about.
I honestly will. That sounds really cool. I would really enjoy that.
And Steve, at the end of all the shows, I like to ask all my guests, what is one piece of advice that you would like to give the audience? Could be absolutely anything.
Anything. So I think the first piece would be kind of like what I talked about before. Just be patient with like everything. Like kind of like what you were saying. It's
Mhm.
never just gonna be an adjustment and like you're 100% good. You got to be patient and kind of go through the process. And it's gonna be like hard, but it's only gonna get easier if you take care of yourself.
Mhm.
Um, I think I would also say know that you're not alone. Like there's so many people
Mm.
that deal with this,
Yes.
especially probably like you guys, every chiropractor that does this. I know. I feel like when I first started dealing with it, I thought I was like the only person in the world that had this issue, and I was like, oh, it's so rare. Like this is awful. Um, but as I started to meet you and like other chiropractors and even people in the office, just knowing that other people are going through the same thing, and every chiropractor I've been to that works with the Atlas, they say like I've been there. I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
feeling,
Yeah.
which is pretty nice to hear. And then the last thing I would say is one way I've started to look at this whole like journey for me is like knowing that it's kind of made me unique to like who I am as a person. Like I don't really know like where I'd be or what I'd be doing if I didn't really go through all this experience because these experiences because it really taught me how to be disciplined with like my health and my body, how to really like be emotional about certain things and care about eating well, working out, stuff like that. And I'm not saying I'd be in a bad place, but I just feel like this whole experience and journey kind of taught me a lot about the person I want to be and the person I am right now. So
Yeah. I think when you go through something like you did, coming out the other side, it really puts into perspective what's important in life. Like, you
yeah,
know, you've been through the ringer, and now that you feel good again, like life's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing to have your health. It's really the only thing we have.
yeah,
And when you have something like that, when you go through that at such a young age, it's a great lesson to go through in life, because you have such a different perspective on life, and you're so grateful for just little things like waking up and feeling good.
Yeah.
Like that's a good day.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, honestly. And it's even like better when like, especially when you get back to working out, it's even better. Just like, I just lifted and like, I feel great.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Steve, you got your whole life ahead of you, man. I'm excited for you. You're going to do big things. And also thanks for putting us in contact with Cetex. Don't forget for your, I got the nose pads on right now. These things are not slipping off. They're not going anywhere.
That's awesome. I love Cetex. Got great products. I got the earbud grips on my wireless headphones, not these, but those are really, really fire.
Tell them about your gaming situation.
Yeah, so I've been gaming a little
Steve's
bit.
a sweater when he's gaming.
Honestly, like I've been using the grips and I haven't been sweating. Like sometimes I sweat in like Warzone, but I haven't been. So the grips definitely.
The grips are just keeping the controller in the hand. Thank you, Cetex.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to the Expect Miracles podcast. We are actually going live in another half an hour with another upper cervical doctor, Dr. Lee Engel. So if you have nothing going on, stay tuned for another episode. And Steve, thank you so much for coming on, brother. Would love to have you back anytime.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. Would love to be back at some point in the future, Gav.
Absolutely.